We back! Hello, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm giving you a little update on how things are going in the On The Med save over on Twitch. My name's Dan, obviously D-Boy Plays. Welcome to the channel. Let's talk about our first season in Slovenia. Okay, so if it wasn't obvious enough from the thumbnail and all these things, first season went so well. We only went and won the whole bloody thing. Top of the league by 15 points. Nearest team to us, of course, being Gorica. And the boys absolutely smashed it. If we look at the competition as a whole, there's obviously one standout player. If we look at all those player stats and all these things, one standout player for us, now been nicknamed Sassbot. Thanks, David. But yeah, our star man, Nick Fortuna, the man that is on the thumbnail as well. What a player he has turned out to be. I'm so glad in those early streams we kind of decided, hey, let's put this winger up front because he looked like he had all the right attributes to be a pretty dangerous striker, and quite clearly he was. So, just so we can see a little bit more detail of how things went for us in the season. Obviously, you play 30 matches. We won 24, drew 4, and lost 2. We'll get onto the losses in a minute. 83 goals for, 33 against, 50 as a difference, and 76 points as our total finishing figure. And again, this is the first time I've ever managed in Slovenia. Obviously, we've all done these kind of lower league saves and we've done things in other countries, but honestly, I wasn't expecting it to go this well. And I think it's partly to do with the tactic. Also, just wanted to give a quick shout out to a couple of people, Ziggorath and Coach Zanko. Now, the main reason I'm shouting out these boys is because they're both over on Twitch, they stream over there as well, but they both live in Slovenia, so they've both been helping me with pronunciation, understanding the local region, all these various things to do with the club, so huge thanks to them. If you're not following them already, make sure you go and give them a follow. I'll put their links down there. But yes, here is our tactic, the hammer. Now, we spoke about that a little bit in the first episode, but I just wanted to go into a little bit of detail, obviously, on the roles we're doing, the instructions that I've set. Nothing's particularly incredible. It's all kind of based off a gegenpress, but just something kind of ticked for us. The most notable things, obviously, if you can see above me, players like Sassbot, Nick Fortuna, and Christian Mestrich in the middle, both of them just getting goals for fun, really, at the end of it. Like, Mestrich from the middle scored 18 goals and got 18 assists. That's absolutely massive for a midfielder. And then up front as well, Sassbot, Nick, getting 26 goals in all comps and 12 assists. The partnerships that he had as well, obviously he was up front mainly working with our man Tsigalko here, but also it's definitely worth giving a little bit of a shout out. He's a little bit injured at the moment, but Adam Jakopovic as well. He also managed in all comps 8 goals, 6 assists. Lovely partnerships that he's created with both of the players that he's working with at the top there. They're both set to advance forwards, which kind of it's kind of my most trusted striker role. I don't dislike any of the other ones massively. Pressing forward's also one that I find a lot of fun with, and same with complete forward. But advanced forward just seems to be, especially in this system, just another beast. The Paramazalas as well, both on attack. It kind of means that we've just got wingers, but without wingers, if that makes sense. Both obviously currently, as we're looking at it, Mestrich and Nick the Tits, thanks for that nickname, chat. They kind of both explore these upper sections around here, kind of basically giving us a front four. Sehic, obviously, as the halfback, he sort of slots in there. You see it often in the match engine that it's basically a back three, but he kind of, obviously, when we're in that sort of defensive positioning, he sort of tries to shut down anything in the middle, and then when we've got possession, he sort of lingers around these guys to be the link up. At the moment, obviously, it says Alan Kazar, but whoever was sitting in the midfield, this is a new player, by the way. But yeah, ball winning midfielder, they do all the hard work in and around here, and then they launch it to one of these two lads, and they just, as a four, just go and have some fun. Wing backs, Klavora and Yerman, both of them, it says they're on support, but quite a lot of the time they're sort of sneaking around the halfway line, creeping a little bit forward. A lot of crosses coming in from those lads, which I absolutely love. And yeah, they've absolutely smashed it this season. Great work, boys. Now, if we just have a quick look at our entire season's form. Now, last time we spoke, obviously, we had a really, really good run, loads of wins. And it kind of continued for a while until this quite annoying fixture that you can see from Tolmin. We lost 3-0, kind of came out of nowhere because you look at the previous results and we were absolutely just destroying people. The odd 1-0 in there, sure, but most teams were not a problem for us. So coming up against Tolmin and getting that loss was massively frustrating. But, you know, fine. You've got to lose at some point in this game, right? So at least it happened then. And then, obviously, as you can see, the green continued. There's a big break in Slovenia as well. So we had a lot of friendlies. They all went really, really well as well. Came back from that break. Quite a few draws. Some of them a little frustrating than others. You can see that we got 3 2-alls in the space of 5 matches there in the league, which, yeah, was not of concern, really. I don't think at any point this season that Gorica were particularly close to us in the league, but when that starts to happen, obviously, it gets a little bit squeaky bum time, and you think, we're going to have a bad time here. Another league loss to Bystrica, but the big loss, and the most annoying one, because you can see what competition it's in, we made it to the semi-finals of the Slovenian Cup, and we got knocked out by Olimpia Ljubljana. 4-6 was the final score. Let's just watch those highlights back. Now, look, things kicked off relatively simple. I pointed out Diogo Pinto at the start and thought he's just going to be a nightmare for us, but scores a beautiful free kick. We immediately reply, thanks to Mestric. Then score. Guess what? We go ahead, and I'm thinking, this is a big team. If we can beat them and get to the final, this is massive. Like, we might get a double in the first season, but Ljubljana came along, ruined our fun. Some terrible goalkeeping there from Gabric, worth pointing out. Could have easily got a hand to that, but didn't, whatever. Almost managed to shut them down here, but then that man again, Diogo Pinto, shouldn't have referenced him at the start of the game. He gets there second. Then, well, what do you know? We're back in the area. Tagalco with a beautiful, beautiful finish. Then they missed a penalty. Didn't actually show it. Let's just click on that highlight, actually. They had a penalty, and I thought, great, well, this is them ahead again. But Gabric pulls out a massive, massive save. It's kind of skipped over ahead. They scored a goal here, Ralph Flores. Then, once again, in some shoddy defensive work from us. Gets down to the wire. We managed to get a fourth here, and obviously it's 5-4 to them at this point, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's a slim chance that we get back into it. But, of course, the game had other plans. Some terrible work from Zonta there, playing at CDM. I don't know if he was struggling with the halfback role in that game, but yeah, didn't particularly pull it out of the bag for us, and unfortunately we lost 6-4 to Ljubljana. But do you know what? At the same time, it's kind of like they're one of the better teams in this country, so if we lose to them, we lose to them, and 6-4, that's a hell of a game for the neutrals. The other match that's definitely worth pointing out is this game against Ruda Vilenia. Now, this is the match that we actually won the league at. This is the game where it was kind of like, if we win this, cool, we've won the whole thing. And we've got another 5 after it, so it wasn't like it's massive concern. We figured we were probably going to win the league. But really, really good game from the lads here. The one thing I did want to point out, we had one fan made the journey from Dekani all the way over to Vilenia to watch us play and watch us lift the trophy and win everything. I mean, that guy must have been absolutely gassed, just throwing his beer everywhere, just having the best time. So that one fan, thank you for coming and showing support to the Scoundrels. So I suppose the big question that we ask ourselves now at this point in the Journeyman is, what's the next plan? And I think, and I mean, I'm pretty set on this anyway, but we're going to stick around at Dekani for at least another season. For a handful of reasons. One, we've already started this journey with them, and as I always find, at least on Journeyman Saves, you might also be similar, but I kind of fall in love a little bit with the first team that I start managing, and especially after how well this season's gone, I'm very much a fan of the Dekani boys. I'd really, really love to, at some point, make a trip over to Slovenia and actually try and catch a game. That's how much these boys have started to make me feel, which is a little tragic, but at the same time, I think, again, we've all experienced that a little bit with this game. So yeah, a lot of love for the Dekani boys. Also, as well, it's worth noting, you can probably see it just next to my head, I'm a favoured personnel at this club, which is pretty cool. Also, one of the things I should thank Ziggurat for many, many things that he's done, obviously, along the way. Like I say, he's helped me with pronunciations. We've played a few rounds of GeoGuessr in Slovenia, and he's helped me sort of navigate that area as well. But also, using Kitbasher, he's made me these 3 absolutely beautiful kits. I'll overlay them over the top of me now so you can see them a little bit clearer. But They're absolutely stunning. I think they're all beautiful. Made by Macron, mainly because I was wearing an Armenia shirt at the time. But yeah, made by Macron. And I love the sponsor as well. It's sponsored by Vina Copa, which is a local wine company. That's these little things that I think when you're doing these big journeyman saves, if you do have any interest in finding out those sorts of things, which I do, you find out a little bit of that and it's like, cool, let's tie that into the save. Let's sort of, give everything sort of a bigger context. Makes it a little bit more immersive, especially for me as well. It's quite hard to keep my attention. But the big plan, like I say, we won the league. We got so close in the cup. I think it would be really, really special to do at least one more year and try and either get as far, if not slightly further, in the Pokal Pivovarna, or if we're feeling kind of lucky, maybe try and win the league. It happens rarely, but occasionally you can do the back-to-back. The other reason that it's worth us staying here is because we've got at least one whole year left on our contract. We've got one whole year left with them. So we might as well see out the whole contract and just see what happens. Last thing I wanted to point out is we've moved stadiums. I think that's kind of interesting. We had a really, really good season playing at the insert stadium name because I can't remember it or pronounce it. But we have moved to this stadium here, Vipolja. And once again, thanks to Ziggurat, who's giving me a little tour on Google Earth and going, oh yeah, right, it's basically here. It's right on the border of Italy. There's a few tiny issues. Number one, it's got a capacity of 193. Yeah, you heard me right, 193. Now, if we base that on our attendance for the last year, I mean, that probably is about right. We probably don't need any stadium bigger than that because we don't draw a big crowd. But the place that we were at before, this beautiful stadium, had a capacity of 2,500. Obviously, 1,000 of that seating, but nonetheless, it's basically like 10 times bigger than the one that they've moved us to because apparently this one wasn't big enough for the league. I don't get it. I don't understand FM. It's also worth noting that this is where Vipolja is. It's right on the border between Slovenia and Italy. And if anybody knows their geography a little bit, they'll be thinking Slovenia's not above Italy, is it? It's sort of right next to it, isn't it? Yeah, no, you're totally right. Where we were is here. That's where Dekani is. They've moved us to a stadium that's here. Not Copa's or the one that they've got in Azola. No. They've moved us here. I have checked how far it is. It's about an hour's drive if you go through Italy. Without going through Italy, about an hour and a half. So super convenient. Cheers, lads. But yes, that pretty much sums up everything that happened with us in Season 1 with NK Dekani, the Scoundrels. Love that nickname. I did just find that out, by the way, so that's why I'm saying it a lot. Now, obviously, if you're interested in staying up to date with what happens in the On The Med save, please make sure you come over to my Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/dboyplays. I'm going to be streaming this pretty much sort of 2 or 3 times a week, maybe 4 times, depends on schedules, right? But pretty much every time I'm live, we're taking care of this save. I'm super happy with how it's gone with Dekani. Let's just hope that the fun continues in Slovenia. That's all from me though today. Look after yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.